They're all being drained, all three of the exchanges. So all we can say is that it's not going to the exchanges. It's going to private hands that are either stacking the silver, using the silver, or making a whole lot of solar panels, or whatever they're doing with it. Sometimes we just don't want to ask. I can think of a few things. Gold just crossed $5,000 an ounce. Let that land for a second. $5,000 for 1 ounce of a metal that humans have trusted for 6,000 years. And you know what? Most people, your neighbors, your coworkers, your family, they have absolutely no idea this is happening. They're watching Netflix. They're scrolling TikTok. They don't know that the financial world just crossed a line that almost no analyst thought we'd see this decade. But you're here, and that means something. This is Beyond Bullion, the channel where we cut through the noise and deal with what's really happening in the gold and silver markets. And yes, I know some of you think my voice sounds a little familiar. I am not Rafi Farber. But hey, if people say we sound similar, I'll take that as a compliment. What I am is someone who studies this market obsessively. And today, what I'm about to show you is not a prediction. It's a reckoning. Stay with me for the next 8 minutes, because by the end of this video, you will understand exactly why gold is doing what it's doing. And more importantly, what happens next. The world is on fire, and gold knows it. In the first 2 months of 2026 alone, just 8 weeks, here is what has happened. Trump issued a 10 to 15-day ultimatum to Iran over its nuclear program. A U.S. armada, an actual naval fleet, is positioned in the region. The threat of military conflict in the Middle East is not hypothetical. It is being priced into markets right now. The U.S. struck Venezuela. Trump tariffed any country that trades with Iran, which means China is being directly targeted. Greenland is in a geopolitical standoff with Denmark and the United States simultaneously. And at home, Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell became the subject of a criminal investigation, shaking confidence in the very institution that controls the U.S. dollar. Trump has since nominated Kevin Warsh as the next Fed chair, a pick the market expects will push for lower interest rates. Translation: the dollar gets weaker, and when the dollar weakens, gold goes up. Every single one of these events is a rocket under gold's price. But here's what most people don't understand. Gold is not just reacting to the news cycle. Gold is telling you something deeper about the state of the world. Gold doesn't care about politics. It just reflects what politics does to trust. And right now, trust in institutions is at a generational low. Now, here's where it gets really interesting and really important for you to understand. On Friday, January 31st, 2026, gold fell more than 9% in a single day. That was the sharpest one-day drop since 1983. Silver fell over 31% in a single session, its worst performance since 1980. One day, 31%. So what happened? Were the metals broken? Was the bull run over? No. Here's exactly what happened. Trump named Kevin Warsh as the next Fed chair. Warsh is seen as less likely to rapidly slash interest rates. Suddenly, the narrative that the Fed would destroy the dollar overnight, that narrative wobbled. Traders who were leveraged long on gold and silver panicked. They sold fast. This was not a market collapse. This was a margin call liquidation event. Institutional investors and hedge funds dumping precious metals to cover losses elsewhere, not because gold's fundamentals changed, but because they needed cash now. That's the difference between a correction and a crash. And look what happened next. Gold recovered, silver recovered. Both metals clawed back significant ground within days because the underlying demand, central banks, sovereign nations, retail investors, that demand did not go anywhere. Gold is now back above $5,000. Silver is above $86. The bull market is intact. Here's the part of this story that almost no one in mainstream media is talking about. We are not in a normal retail investor gold rally. This is not 2008. This is not 2011. This is something fundamentally different. In 2025, central banks around the world purchased 863 tons of gold, nearly 900 tons. That is equivalent to about 26% of total annual global mine production bought by central banks alone. Poland, Brazil, Kazakhstan. These are not small players making speculative bets. These are sovereign nations systematically moving their reserves out of US dollars and into physical gold. When nations stop trusting the dollar, they buy gold, full stop. And here's the kicker. The world's largest physical gold consumers, India and China, have actually pulled back from buying at these prices. Jewelry demand in China fell 24% in 2025 because prices were too high. Indian buyers similarly reduced purchases, yet gold kept going up. Without the two biggest retail markets in the world, gold still climbed because central banks don't buy on discounts, they buy on mandate.